There was a conference recently, the BioLogos Conference 2019, which on their website, conference.biologos.org, says here, Beyond Conflict, Science, Faith, and the Big Questions. This was on March 27th through the 29th, 2019 in Baltimore. Here you can read, it says about the event, we all heard about the supposed conflict between science and faith, but what if there's more to the story, a richer version of harmony to be shared with the world around us? Join BioLogos at the Waterfront Hyatt Regency, blah, blah, blah. So the real interesting thing that was brought up at this conference was the talk of, would aliens change the Christian viewpoint? I will leave this article in the description, both links to the website and this article. And here on this article on the Christian Post, it says, as there is believed to be billions of planets in the universe, the theological implications that the discovery of intelligent alien life would have was overviewed at the recent BioLogos conference. BioLogos Foundation President Deborah Harzma, the former chair of Calvin College's Physics and Astronomy Department, gave her thoughts Thursday on tough hypothetical questions related to what the potential discovery of intelligent life on other planets would have on biblical claims and teachings. Now, later in this article, I read some things that I found very disturbing, things that just do not fit in line with the biblical teachings that we know are true. Now, I'll just say it's good for these people to come together. They should come together, talk about this stuff, but they really need to focus on what the Bible actually says, if that's where we're going for our truth. But there's some disturbing things that is mentioned here. So it says, quote, but would the discovery of intelligent alien life alter views on Christ's incarnation? Harzma explained that such a question is one where many Christians disagree. There are several theological possibilities, she pointed out. Now, these possibilities, you'll see, they're just not on point. One possibility is that Christ's sacrifice on earth redeemed the entire universe, while another possibility is that aliens might not need redemption because they might have made a different choice than humans when it comes to sin and the fall. Those are just so not biblical. Another option, she argued, was that God might have also incarnated on alien planets to provide redemption in those worlds. The last possibility she mentioned is that aliens have their own way to God that is different from the paths humans have to God. So every single one of those possibilities is completely anti-biblical, except really probably the first one, which is just that Christ's sacrifice on earth redeemed the entire universe, but to include some sort of off-earth living species in that is just not true. The only reason I even mention that is because, as we know, in the book of John, in the first chapter, first verses, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made. In him was the life, and that life was the light of men, and that light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. So Jesus, all things were created through him and by him. So he saved the whole universe, if you want to call it that. He saved everything created when he did that, but he only came to die for the sins of man. He did not come and die for some greys, some reptilians, all this stuff. That stuff is all a complete lie. All of that alien talk and all of that alien stuff, I've been hammering it for years, and it's because I have personal experience with that I'll get into at the end of the video. But it's all a complete lie, no matter what you believe. There are no off-world living entities or anything of that nature whatsoever. The Bible is what tells us the truth, and that's how we know what is true. And the end times deception could very well include some sort of off-world, supposedly, creature that comes and deceives all of mankind. And there's Bible verses that make that to possibly be a scenario that takes place. So the next point that she brought up was that the aliens might not need redemption because they made a different choice than humans did when it came to the sin and the fall. Which, it just doesn't make sense, because God is not going to send Jesus to die over and over again on these thousands or millions, potentially billions of planets. God's just going to send Jesus to die and suffer all over and over again. No, that's not how it works. Hebrews 9:27-28. I mean, these people, they don't read the Bible. It's unbelievable, the people these days who say they know what the Bible says and they go out teaching this stuff, and they don't just read the simple stuff for what it simply says. People believe teachings of men over what the Bible says. It's what creates all this stuff. What's created the pre-tribulation rapture. No one would read the Bible and get a pre-tribulation rapture belief out of it. Anyways, so Hebrews 9, 27, 28. And as it is appointed for men to die once, but after this, the judgment. So Christ was offered once to bear the sins of many. To those who eagerly wait for him, he will appear a second time apart from sin for salvation. It says, so Christ was offered once to bear the sins of many. Once. Christ was offered once. He is the Messiah, the only begotten Son of God. So there's not multiple sons of God. He's the begotten Son of God. Once for sin. So there's that argument out of it. I mean, these people, come on. Simple Bible reading and understanding, and they could get rid of a lot of these beliefs. Another option she argued was that God might have also been incarnated on alien planets to provide redemption to those worlds. And we can simply go to the very first chapter of the Bible, Genesis 1, verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Human beings are created after in the image of God. So saying that these aliens or something went down, it's just none of that makes any sense. Because Jesus was appointed once to die for sins, so he's not off doing it on other planets over and over again. That would never happen. Greys are not created in the image of God. Reptilians and Palladians are not in the image of God. Those are in the image of new age spiritual people who have come to this, seeing these visions of these demonic entities that have come into their mind. That's where these systems have come from, these beliefs and these different alien races, or from actual demonic attacks where these people see these entities. None of that's real. None of it's real of an off-world being. It's all demonic. It's all evil. And lastly is the New Age belief system that all roads lead to God that she brought up. And it says the last possibility she mentioned is that aliens have their own way to God that is different from the past humans have to God. That's not true. I mean, over and over again, you must believe in Jesus Christ. The most popular verse in the Bible, John 3:16. For God so loved the world, earth, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. I mean, that verse right there practically sums it up. The world, Jesus, only begotten Son. I mean, it's just so clear. Two things I want to point out that I've pointed out many times. Ephesians 2:2, in which you once walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit who now works in the sons of disobedience. I don't think anybody who's actually spent the time to look into it could say that the UFO phenomenon going on is fake or all hoaxes. There's something going on in the skies. Some of it's probably black ops, secret military aircraft. But besides that, there is spiritual forces in the sky manipulating the sky. And it says in Ephesians 2:2 that Satan is the prince of the power of the air. So I don't find that a coincidence whatsoever. We also know in 2 Thessalonians 2:8 through 10, and the lawless one, the Antichrist, will be revealed, whom the Lord will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. The truth is the Bible. The truth is Jesus Christ. Lying signs, powers, and wonders by the working of Satan. That is what is going on in the skies. How are all these religions and all these people on earth going to come together? The Antichrist is somehow going to get these people to all come together. I don't know. No one knows how that's going to happen. But if a ship landed somewhere and some Greys walked out, or a Palladian walked out and was offering peace and the cure to sickness and all this stuff, all you had to do was follow him and not believe the Bible and take the mark in your hand and your head, that would bring a lot of different people on this earth who have huge differing opinions together to follow. I don't know. It could definitely be an end times deception. I really think it could. Or it's just a deception going on right now to keep people away from God, because just like all of those points that lady brought up, every belief, when you start to believe that aliens are real, there's off-world beings, you have to it leads you away from God. It always does. It leads you to, well, if He created them, then religion's just created by man. All this stuff, it leads you completely away from God. And every one of the possibilities that she brought up for how we can try to fit the alien theory into a biblical perspective was completely unbiblical and completely new age. So it leads you away from God. It does. And if they come and land, they're of the working of Satan. I can guarantee you that. They're lying signs and wonders. Now, quickly, just to share something that I know for a fact. I've personally experienced it. That's why I've made lots of videos on this subject. Before I was saved, I saw a lot of UFOs, and it got me super interested into aliens, and it just totally led me into believing things that were just not true whatsoever. And these lights in the sky that I used to see them every single day for a long time, probably at least months, maybe over a year. I would see them in the night sky, normally always at the same, for sure at the same time, which was 3 in the morning, or after 3 in the morning. I would see these lights in a certain area of the sky. The first time that I saw one, I was taking astronomy class at the time, and I noticed this bright light in the sky, and I was wondering, that's interesting. That's a pretty bright star or a planet or whatever. And I went back and was busy just doing whatever for a couple hours, and I was laying in bed, and I was like, I'm going to go back and look out and see what that star looks like and where it's at. We used to have to look at the night sky and write it down and stuff for astronomy. When I went back and I was looking at the stars, I realized I was looking at that it was there again. It was still there. And I realized that the way that the stars move in the sky, this star would be in a totally different area if it was moving with the stars in the sky. It hadn't moved in the correct rotation that all of the stars move in the sky. The second that I realized that in my mind, this light dimmed out and completely disappeared. So somehow it knew what I was thinking. There are spiritual things going on. Some of these UFOs in the sky that people are seeing are 100% spiritual. It got to the point where I could feel that these things were outside because they would freak me out, especially when I saw that movie, The Fourth Kind, where the lady and all the people were abducted by aliens. Really freaked me out. Thought maybe I was being abducted and I didn't know it because I hadn't gone under hypnosis like the people in the movie. But I would see them on and on. They were normally always just these lights in the sky. They would dim, reappear. Sometimes other ones would appear, always in the same area. They would move, and it was really weird. And it was weird that I could sense when they were around, and that just proves to me now that it was spiritual. Later on as well, those were the ones I normally saw. It looked like a really bright light in the sky, brighter than any of the other stars or whatever lights are in the sky. Looks kind of like a close airplane, but it would go dim, disappear, reappear. Multiple ones would appear. Then another time I saw one that was pretty close above me, flying about the height of a single engine airplane that you would see flying around or coming in for landing. Didn't get super great detail of it, but I saw blue coming off the back of it. It looked like it was manipulating the sky. It was flying around weird. And me and about probably 10 other people saw that one. Later on, when I got saved and realized that these things were demonic forces, and all of the testimonies, hundreds and I'm sure thousands of testimonies of people who have encountered aliens or been harassed by them in UFOs and called on Jesus Christ, and they stopped. After I realized that truth and after I got saved, I haven't seen a single UFO since in years and years and years. It was kind of like paranormal activity. When people go into an area that they think is haunted, or when they hear an area is haunted and they go there and they're looking for that activity, something happens sometimes, and it's because they're opening themselves up. They're inviting these spiritual forces to come in and to come around them, at least. When you are looking for that, that's when you find it. And so, yeah, I'm 100% convinced these things are spiritual. I know it for a fact. This is a spiritual work, negative spiritual work of Satan. It's deceiving people, leading them away from God, harassing them, tricking them into New Age beliefs to get them to think that their space brothers are off there somewhere. The people who planted us here, there's no God. We were created by the aliens. It all leads you away from the truth of the Bible. The truth is found in the Bible alone. And I honestly believe that, now that I think about it a little more, I don't think that the flat earth scares YouTube and scares the powers that be because of the shape of the earth. What I think it really is that when you believe in flat earth, whether you do or not, if you believe in flat earth, you have to believe in God. If you believe in flat earth and you don't believe in God, it makes no sense. And I think that's why YouTube cracked down on flat earth videos recently, because if you believe flat earth, you have to believe in God. A lot of people who believe in flat earth believe in God, and so that's what scares them. People reading their Bible and believing in God. I don't think it's the shape of the earth that they care about. It's the fact that it leads people to God in the Bible. So aliens, they are a demonic work. They are fallen angels. They are the workings of Satan. All of it is completely evil. And if they ever land, and if they ever were to show themselves and come on the public scene, I don't care if there's videos of them showing themselves creating Jesus in a test tube with videos of Jesus walking around. Anything. It's a lie. It's a complete lie. Aliens are a lie. They're a complete attack, a spiritual attack by Satan. And we cannot believe them. There's no place in them in the Bible. There's no place in them in reality. Why would they leave once people become Christians? Why would they stop attacking people when they call in the name of Jesus Christ? If it's happened once, if it's happened 5 times, or if it's happened the thousands of times that it has happened, why would that happen if they're just some being from a different planet? It wouldn't. They're spiritual. Thanks for watching. God bless.